Hi there crafters, it's Louise with you from Timeless Craft Mama, and today I'm sharing a scrapbook layout on behalf of Scrapbook Boutique. Now, I'm having a little bit of a play along with the Kaisercraft collection, and what I want to do is make this a little bit more of I don't want to use the word feminine, but a pretty page. So sometimes when I'm creating, especially if it's a boys page, I tend to steer clear of like flowers and florals and things like that. But other times, like in this video, I actually want to create a page that I'm going to keep for myself. So I get the chance to actually play along with some elements that might be a little bit more again, pretty than what I possibly would normally put on a boys page. Now, again, in scrapbooking and art, there are no rules. So if you like to have a pretty boys page, absolutely do what you're comfortable with. But in this case, this layout is for me. And what it is the picture is Master Zed's answers to the questions that they asked them about your mum on Mother's Day. So there were some really funny responses. I won't bore you with what they are, but certainly some of the answers that come from a 5-year-old are quite unique. And that's what I wanted to record on this page. So nothing planned when I actually sat down and started this. I'm using the collection to guide me, and I sort of have a feeling maybe I'm going to get a bit mixed media with this. Maybe I'm going to just let the paper layers do the work. I still haven't quite decided. What I really wanted to do was use that blue flower paper and possibly fussy cut something, but it's just not me. I can't make myself fussy cut, so I'd much prefer to use elements or parts of the collection that work for my particular style of scrapping. Now what I'm doing is just making a cluster around the photo to begin with. I sort of, again, I'm trying to push my usual style a little bit, but still end up with the layout that shows my particular preference for the way I scrap. And I'm, again, still not quite sure how this page is going to turn out. I'm basically playing with elements, adding things, and some of this I do off camera so that you don't actually have to watch while I think, because that would be quite a boring video. But in this case, I sort of was looking around my craft table at some of the other layouts I was working on, some of the mess that was hanging around, and I saw these sort of torn bits of cardboard that were just sitting there, and I thought, great, I have not used torn cardboard for such a long time, and it really does give this great textured effect. So that's where that sort of inspiration came from for that. Now I have a little play with the paper, with that little torn section that's got the cardboard behind it, and in the end I go back to the way I had it. So now that I'm quite satisfied with where this page is going, it's time to add a little bit of colour into the background. So I'm using the Colour Blast pastes in Bling and Royalty, and I'm just popping them through the stencil, again a florally kind of stencil, so nothing too technical here, just small areas of the bling, so the gold, and then a little bit extra of the Royalty as well. And that's because this Kaisercraft collection really has that sort of touch of gold and that lovely purple colour as well. Now, an easy way to sort of bring a mixed media background together is to add some splatter. Now, sometimes I will do this with the actual part of the spray bottle, and other times I'll do it with a paintbrush. So in this case, I've done that with a paintbrush and the spray bottle, but I'm also going to paint that cardboard with some of that bling as well. And I really love how that's turned out. If you haven't already, pop over to the blog and have a look at some of the close-ups, because you get this great shimmer on that brown cardboard background. So it really gives you something quite unique and not rustic in the layout, but just more textured and not as polished, so to speak. Now, mostly this is dry, so I'm just simply playing around with embellishments, deciding what I want to add to the page, a few things out of my stash, some gold sparkly thickers, which later on sort of helps me build my title. So I've got the hashtag there, but I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this again. Some more paper layers, some more of the collectibles. A great way to add interest into a background is just simply through the use of tags or little pops of rounded edge paper. Doesn't have to be a whole sheet of paper, and this is why I like to actually only partially mount things until I'm specifically done with a page, because I may decide not only would I maybe lift something up and redo it or move it, but I may actually just tuck little parts behind anything that I've already popped on the page. So mostly as you're watching this, what I'm going through is just that embellishing phase, so nothing too technical, a couple of little stickers. Now, because I've got paste in my background, I'm also using the tacky glue on the stickers. That's just to help this particular page in its longevity, so to be able to make it last in an album, or sometimes my pages don't make it to albums, they might sit in a pile for a little while. I find that if you're sticking just with the adhesive on some of the embellishments, you may run into trouble there. So I like to use the tacky glue, and that will help. I will also stick these thickers letters down with the tacky glue too. So the layout is finished. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that from me. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe, and of course check out Scrapbook Boutique for the supplies used in this video.